Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching Pro and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube pages. We kind of move forward here in the TNT review series, hopefully done by the end of the month with this. This is the January 24th edition, and we see Roddy Piper and Cowboy Bob Orton out there. Piper basically says that Orton has a permanent injury to his wrist. Uh, Piper is also getting ready for the boxing related deal upcoming with Mr. T at WrestleMania 2 at the beginning of April. We kind of see the sit down with a doctor on Piper's Pit about the various injuries to other wrestlers, but the questioning of the arm related apparatus worn by Mr. Orton, Bob Orton Jr., otherwise known as the father of Randy Orton, current WWE superstar, is the main focus of the Piper's Pit. Again, Piper's Pit, probably the first major, maybe outside of Rogers Corner, first major interview segment in the WWF, and again, kind of getting people over in a really good way there. Then we see kind of Piper coming back and kind of talking about not particularly liking the fact that nobody is taking him seriously or his foray with Bob Orton Jr. seriously. Again, they have a history going back to the Mid Atlantic days, which, if you've followed our Mid Atlantic series, is something that you would be aware of. And again, we kind of foray into that a little bit here on the channel as well. And ultimately, Hulk Hogan is on the current edition of the WWF magazine. Vince McMahon talking about Hogan and the magazine, obviously trying to hawk the magazine as hard as he can. Piper is super confident, doesn't believe he can be beaten. The Cowboy Ace, Bob Orton, is his main focal point, and actually they remain connected through most of '86 here. And obviously the TNT platform gives Piper an awesome ability to talk things through. Piper also kind of beats up on the uh, wrestling figures that are there. Certainly a very merchandised process, as is the case. And Piper even throws some confetti kind of a roundabout for the purposes of getting a little bit of attention. Then we see and Piper also spends a good bit talking about the feud that they have had with the Uncle Elmer and that run. The Saturday night's main event is the go back here, and again, the brawl with the Hillbillies versus Piper and Ventura is kind of there. Obviously, we'll cover that in the Saturday night's main event deal, but needless to say, certainly Piper not happy about having to be in the ring with guys like Uncle Elmer and Hillbilly Jim by any stretch of the imagination. Piper is phenomenal in this. If you've never seen Roddy Piper in a interview foray, worth going out of your way to check out. Then we see B. Brian Blair out next. Yet to do the Killer Bees gimmick, I don't think. Or actually, maybe. But he's kind of talking more about his collegiate style of wrestling. And then we go to a modified. Actually, he is doing the Bees thing because we go to a clipped version of a match that B. Brian Blair is having also. As Blair has talked about, been around since '84 with the WWF. I think he remains till '89, early '89. The Killer Beast thing runs through part of '88, and ultimately a pretty good tag team. The Bees, though, go at it with Barry O and B. Brian Blair there, and joined in progress again. Blair kind of taking a few shots, and Barry O is Barry Orton, the brother of Bob Orton Jr. and the uncle of Randy Orton. They brawl on the outside of the ring for a bit. Um, Blair sends him into the ring apron, and then Blair tries to, with a very basic punch kick neighborhood, Barry Orton, a guy that I honestly think they could have done more with. Blair does manage to get a victory in pretty quick order, doing some modified runs and getting a headbutt. But again, Blair continues to be in good shape and continues to talk about wanting to move himself forward. Then we do a rather long segment with Bobby the Brain Heenan. He is flawless in his knowledge of WWF trivia and also, except for complaining that he is on the inside cover of the Piledriver album. Hillbilly Jim comes out next, and Hillbilly Jim kind of talks about the various things, talks about a knit hat and other various things. More hype for Ventura and the Hillbillies going forward. Cousin Luke and Uncle Elmer are there, and again, the Hillbillies, Hillbilly Jim and Cousin Luke, face off against one of the Moondogs in a highlighted match here. I believe Moondog spot. Very basic arm bars, arm ringers, and the like. Prefer this to the current day wrestling mainly because there's actual psychology behind what happens here. A enhancement talent on the outside of the ring, who I believe is actually Steve Lombardi, is part of that. And again, we kind of go Hillbilly Jim, new to the company, obviously brought in by Hulk Hogan in his infinite wisdom. We see a couple of shots by Cousin Luke, a couple of knee lifts and the like, and ultimately the Hillbillies are talking pretty vociferously about their desire to move things forward in a positive way. Then again, we go back to the trivia with Bobby Heenan a little bit as a time filler. And again, the Hillbillies never really given a Hillbilly Jim and Cousin Luke never really given a tag team championship match there. Uncle Elmer not as much a guy in this particular era, but we'll close with that and. Heenan once again out talking about disliking being around the Hillbillies. Heenan is phenomenal. If you like improv, if you like promos that aren't wooden, this is AT&T worth watching. We'll be back with more right after this.